Okay. All right. So yeah, today's seminar is called "The Power of Custom AI Assistants," and just a very quick introduction on my background, because back in '95, someone said to me, "Can you make a video for the internet?" And I said, "What's that?" And 'cause I didn't know back then, and they said, "Oh, you got to go and check this out." And I did, and I went, "Whoa, this is great!" So a few months later, we built this online community in a time when basically the internet was blue was very bland screens with blue text, or actually text and blue links, and occasionally a picture if you got lucky. So we appeared with this thing, which was actually animated with audio in 3D virtual reality. So people went, "Oh my God, what's this?" And they shared it. And so we suddenly had like 1.5 million members. So in the following 10 years, I learned a lot about the internet and communities and what to do and how to get people to sites and how to keep them there and all these other kind of fun things. But what was kind of interesting was that in 1998, we built what might have been the first AI chatbot, because these were some of the screens of people dancing in the cafe and all sorts of stuff going on with their avatars. But this chatbot, what happened was we had like 1,000 new people coming to the site every day and going into the chat rooms. We had about 100 different chat rooms because we had all these colonies and parts of the town. And they kept asking all these questions. And we couldn't keep up. We couldn't monitor 100 chat rooms and answer all these constant questions. So we built Mina here and programmed her to answer all the questions that typically were asked. And she would monitor these 100 chat rooms simultaneously and answer the questions. And she actually became very popular because she had a kind of programmed, nice, kind of cute personality. But anyway, that was my first experience with AI, and I thought, wow, this stuff is really something. It can do amazing things. That was just some of the international press that we got at the time, because the community became very popular and partnered with all sorts of wild people. Anyway, so what we're going to cover today is some brief updates since the last seminar I did that was more on the basics of AI. And also, we're going to go through my sequential history with custom GPTs, which are mini versions of ChatGPT that can be customized or tailored to be AI assistants for specific use cases. And I'll explain all that shortly. And I'm going to demonstrate some of them. And basically, the purpose of this is to show you what led to my, quote, hallelujah moment when I went, oh my God. And to give you ideas for creating your own. Because after you see how easy it is, and you actually, with the people that I can see, or even in the chat, how many of you have already created custom GPTs, custom AI assistants? Okay, none in the video, and no in the chat. Okay, so this will probably
I
be.
have
Oh, who's that?
Franco.
Franco. Good. How many have you built?
Actually, I'm working on another one right now. I probably have about 10 to 12.
Cool. So you know what fun they are, huh?
Yes, yes, they're very helpful.
Yeah, they really are. Um, and I'm going to show you also a great add-on tool for ChatGPT and custom GPTs that I find very, very useful. And then how to create your own custom GPT. How to make it secure, because that's a whole other thing. It was found out pretty quickly that these things natively are not secure, and anyone can go in and grab your code and grab your how you built it and make their own clone of it. So we did a bunch of research and found out how to prevent that. And then at the end, we'll do some Q&A. Now, a quick update on some of the changes that have occurred since last month. So image creation used to take 45 seconds to a minute or more when you gave it a text prompt and asked the AI to create an image. Now it's instant. Leonardo has Live Canvas, Stable Diffusion has XL Turbo, and Leonardo now does image to video in competition with Pika Labs and Runway ML. What I mean by instant, it means you start writing your prompt, and right in front of you, the image starts to appear. As you change your prompt, the image changes. So it's absolutely instant creation. It's pretty wild. Bard, Google's Bard, competitor to ChatGPT, can now watch and summarize YouTube videos. And I found out in the last month that it's fabulous for keyword research. As many people on YouTube are showing, instead of having to pay some of these companies hundreds of dollars a month for keyword research, you can do it for yourself now for free using Bard. And Bard, of course, is Google, so they're very tightly connected. Claude 2 and Merlin, which are other competitors to ChatGPT, which I showed in previous webinars, have shown quite a tendency to hallucinate when asked to do research. And what that means is these things are programmed to be helpful. So if they don't know something, in order to be helpful, they'll make it up and just to give you an answer. So you kind of have to know, is this information true or not, or valid? And I discovered for myself a couple of months back when I asked a question and got back this really nice, very valid looking answer. But there was something in the middle of it that I realized just from my own knowledge of the area was completely untrue. So I said, hey, what is this? And it was profusely apologetic and said, I won't do it again. And I said, you better not. And since then, I've learned how to prompt those tools so they don't hallucinate. But I don't use them for research anymore. I use them only for creative writing, which they're very good at. But for non-hallucinatory research, I tend to use ChatGPT 4, the paid version. Those of you who have who found out about custom GPTs probably know that the demand was so horrendous that OpenAI servers crashed and became incredibly slow for about a month, or actually a couple of weeks. So they actually closed down subscriptions, and for about a month you couldn't subscribe to get the paid version. The paid version is $20 a month, but so worth it because of the incredible things it enables you to do, both with text and images and all sorts of things. But they did, a week or two back, open it up again, so you can now get ChatGPT Plus again. And one of the things I covered in the seminar on image creation was the whole copyright issue, and where the US Copyright Office said first that you can't copyright AI artistic creations, and then a few months later they said, well, you can't copyright what the AI created, but you can copyright your involvement. In other words, if you created the prompt and maybe you did some tweaking on it, you can copyright your part in it. But then, a week or two back, China announced that you can copyright an AI-generated image, at least in China. So apparently you have to go create your image in China and then come back to America. But no, I'm kidding. But it's an interesting shifting landscape. And I'm sure, I know the Copyright Office is in discussions with a lot of artists as to what's the best way to approach this. So I'm sure there'll be some changes upcoming this year in the whole copyright area. Some interesting things that one of my seminars was all about prompts. Prompts are what you use to communicate with the AI and how you get it to answer questions or do what you want it to do. And a few things I've learned since the last seminars, I'm just going to include here. So yeah, ChatGPT is trained to be helpful and to mimic humans, and it's definitely been observed and demonstrated that if you're polite and say please and thank you, you actually get better results. So that's worth knowing. Also, ask one question at a time, not multiple questions in one prompt. One of my clients said, hey, I asked ChatGPT this question, and it was about 10 questions in one prompt. and she was wondering why she didn't get great results. So that led to me kind of going, hey, it's one question at a time if you want the best results. The other thing is to use roles, which is you give the GPT a role. You say, you are a marketing expert, or you are a financial expert, or whatever it is you want as its role, so it has context for what it's researching or finding out for you. Makes a big difference. And this part is kind of funny. If you don't get the answers you seek after a few times, because when I say a few times, the thing is when you ask a question of the GPTs, what comes up first is very generic and very general. And a lot of people say, oh, well, this is not much use, and they leave, instead of realizing that you've really got to dig in and say, hey, can you expand upon that? Can you give more details about that part? And you keep on getting it to go deeper and deeper and deeper and more granular, and you can that's where you find the real nuggets of information. But if after doing that for maybe, 4 or 5 things back and forth, communications back and forth, you're still not getting the answers you're looking for, you can say you're not being helpful, because they know that they're trained, they want to be helpful. And what I found is, and this is really bizarre, and I'm not the only one that found this, others have found this, is you can kind of emotionally blackmail them because if you say, that would make me very sad, you can do it, I have every faith in you, you're a genius, etc., that suddenly unlocks their ability to do something they previously said they couldn't do. And some other people have discovered, this is even more bizarre, that if you offer them a tip, you'll get a better answer. And you can say, okay, that answer was pretty good, but if I tip you $10, can you give me a better one? And it does. And people have found that if you tip it $20, you get more information. If you tip it, somebody tipped one $200, and it's all metaphorical. It's not real tips. It's just telling the GPT that you're giving it a $200 tip, and suddenly it gives you more information. It's really wild, but anyway. So let's see. Yeah, as I mentioned before, the first answers are usually general, so ask for more details or expansion and keep going as deep as you need until you get what you need. Now, as you know, AI in the last couple of years, and 2022, 2023, has gone through this massive upward curve, accelerating all the time. And it's been interesting to keep up with it, because as an AI consultant, I have to keep up with all these constant new tools coming in and out. I mean, being released every week. I mean, so many of them. There's, I think, about 4,000 now, different AI tools available, and growing every day. But then in November, early November, the AI world changed completely. It went into a whole new stratosphere because OpenAI announced at the developers conference, they announced custom GPTs, mini versions of ChatGPT that can be customized or tailored to be, quote, AI assistants or coaches for specific use cases, and that we could build these ourselves and sell them in their upcoming store. Actually, the store was released last week, so it's no longer upcoming. It's already there. A little bit like the early days of the Apple App Store. We've now got the custom GPT store for apps created with ChatGPT. Now, at first, when this announcement came out, I didn't quite get it. I couldn't quite think with it. I was going, what's the value of this? How can I use it? But then, as I thought about it, I remembered that about 25 years ago, I created a little program called Decision Maker, which was for really difficult decisions where you've got, one decision on one side and the other decision on the other, whether to do this or not do this, or do this or do that. And those decisions tended to have a lot of moving parts. like pluses on one side, minuses on that side, pluses on the other side, minuses on that other side, plus, even more important, the relative importance of each of those things to you. And trying to keep all that stuff in your head was just daunting. So I built this app that would walk you through it, and it became, popular. And unfortunately, it was built in Windows 95 in the late 90s, using a programming software that when Windows 95 went bye-bye, so did the software. So, and I got involved in other things and didn't want to go through the pain of recreating that whole thing. So for 25 years, I lived without Decision Maker. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, if these GPTs can do what I think they can do, maybe I can recreate Decision Maker. And let's find out. So I tried it, and sure enough, I was able to train the AI on how to build the app very, very quickly, and it worked first time. And I went, whoa, that's wild. So at that point, I was still kind of, getting my feet wet, kind of just dipping my toe in the water, and still hadn't quite realized the potential and the power of these things. But anyway, I thought that was great fun. So that was that. And then I thought, well, let's see what else I can do. So then I had a lot of people who still do, who say, hey, check out my website. And sometimes that website is multiple pages long, and I don't have time to spend half an hour checking out somebody's website. So I thought, well, what if I create a GPT that can do it for me? It can go to the website. All I do is give it the address. It goes in and gives me a precise, clear, and concise summary of what the website's about. And I tried that, and that worked too. And I went, whoa, this is cool. So then I thought, well, there's a whole bunch of information on crypto on the web. What if I had an AI that could go across the web, get all the latest up-to-date information, the prices, the trends, what's happening on social media in regard to different, and then, recommend coins to invest in. So I tried that, and that worked too. And this is actually, you don't have to read this, it's just a brief excerpt where I just asked it about a coin called AKT, and it gave me all the information that one needed. And this is just a brief excerpt. It was like several pages long, but it was very, very useful. So I was starting to get the feeling that there's something to these, because they can create pretty much anything one can think of. Then I thought, since I work with a lot of artists, I wonder if I could create custom tools for artists and then personalize them to each artist and their career. So I tried. I created the Visual Artist Career Guide and trained the GPT to be a very helpful guide for visual artists seeking career and marketing advice. And there's various preset questions at the bottom, but then down here, you can ask it anything you like relating to career advice and marketing advice for visual artists. And visual artists that I've turned it on to have found it very, very useful because it's focused. And the other thing is, now I've made these available for free, and but they're much more potent and powerful if they're customized to the specific artist, and they're trained on the specific artist, their goals, their challenges, their works, and everything. Then it can really focus in and do really ideal marketing. And it can do, it can create the marketing campaigns and different campaigns for different social media. And it can create because ChatGPT can create images, it can create the actual social media posts with the images and the text and everything else. So it's very powerful. So then I thought, okay, what about musicians? So same thing. So I created one called Musician's Career Guide. So by now I was starting to go, whoa, this stuff is pretty cool. And then I have a lot of friends and clients who are authors. And so I created Author's Ally. And what Author's Ally does is the same thing. A lot of authors, they spend a lot of time creating a wonderful book, and then they publish it, and then they go, now what? They don't know how to market it. Excuse me. So Authors Ally helps them market it. And then I don't know if it's the next slide or not. No, I'll go back, but I'll tell you about it. But then I had this bright idea. I thought, well, what if I trained the GPT on a specific author's book? So it had the whole book, and it could read the whole book and know everything to answer about the book. And then authors could sell it as a digital companion to their book, where readers could interact with the book and with the extra information that the author had given me to program into the digital companion. And they could have a much deeper, enriched, deeper interactive experience, digging into the book and also kind of getting a lot of the author's communications that may not have made it into the book. And that turned out to be really, really popular. And so just a couple of quick things, quick testimonials, just so you can get an idea. One author said, I've been using Tony's first AI assistant for authors, my personal custom Authors Ally, for 3 days, and I can't stop grinning. It's so useful, so much fun, so effective, and so dang personal. I call my AI guy Chad, like Chad GPT. He gave me truly implementable help for launching my upcoming release, Keto Express, Grab and Go Keto for Busy Lives. I mean, he was trained before I met him, and he helped me write customized press releases that were actually better than I could write myself. And I have a degree in English. I've written a bunch of books, with my first ever being an Amazon bestseller, and I know that Chad is a new tool I can use for enhancement in many ways. The help I'm getting is stellar. I'm so impressed. Now I can hardly wait to dive into the author's companion for 2 specific books. It's going to be a wild ride. And another author, on reading his author's companion, said, wow, I never thought of it digested to such a refined distinction. Yes, that is it. Thanks for this revelation. I'm hot to get going. I'm especially hot after reading your AI companion summary. Incredible. Thanks, thanks, thanks. Wow. So you see that authors are liking these tools, as am I. And the funny thing is that when I first started training the GPT, the Authors Ally, the Digital Companion GPT, I uploaded a book that was like 300 pages long, and I said to the GPT, okay, so read the book and understand it and let me know when you're done. And almost before I finished writing done, it said done. It's that fast. It's pretty incredible. So then, since I have a lot of recording artists that I work with, and they have home studios, I created Studio Wizard. That is, because it's called Studio Wizard, and it's a home studio recording magician, offering equipment, technique, mixing advice, and the occasional spell. I actually programmed it to answer in the style of Gandalf, and it does. It's very funny, the way it talks. But then an interesting thing started to happen. So most everybody could do with some help with marketing, and marketing can be quite a complex subject, often involving a number of people. I was working on some projects that involved very time-consuming in-depth market research for companies when suddenly a light bulb went off, and thus was born. And this, for the gentleman earlier who said, are we going to cover anything to do with marketing? This is the part where we are. So I realized that, wait a minute, I'm doing all this time, spending all this time, weeks. It used to be months, but with AI, it turned down into weeks. I'm spending all this time doing all this market research into the market for a company, their current marketplace, their potential markets, their competition pricing, their prospect concerns and needs, SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, audience personas, a very detailed look at the characteristics that make up their audience, preliminary keywords, and so much more. And I thought, well, wait a minute, maybe I can create something that would do that for me and save me a great deal of time. And thus was born Marketing Bloodhound. And let me go back. Marketing Bloodhound is a powerhouse. I tell him, I've already trained him on what I need, and he does it in 5 stages, and he knows when, after he's finished stage 1, he knows to ask me, is this okay, or am I ready to go to stage 2? And I tell him yes or no or whatever, and he does all the research for me. So it's a phenomenal time saver. Now, so then, as I continued to go through the cycle that I was doing for these clients in the area of market research, I thought, well, let's have them find the pain points. And sure enough, it was able to really dig in, find the pain points, the points of concern and upset and ruin and things that people needed help with, their challenges in those particular subjects or niches. And that was very, very valuable, because then I knew, what to address or what the client should address. So, so that was the next part. And then I said, okay, well, what about marketing hooks? The things that in the headlines or copy are so powerful that they hook you in and make you want to read more. And so I created Hooks Generator, and that creates multiple positive and negative hooks and headlines by niche or subject. So now I was on a roll, because this was paralleling everything I was doing while I was doing this in the real world. So then I thought, what about keywords? So sure enough, created Keyword Detective, which saves a great deal of time. And then Campaign Architect. And what Campaign Architect does is I feed it all the information from the previous 4, and it creates the marketing campaigns. And the marketing campaigns can be, very detailed and very specific and very implementable. However, I think the next one is, however, they can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, because there's so many things that a company can do, as the market research has discovered and as the campaign has recommended. And so I have a company in Hawaii that has 70 staff, and so their marketing campaign, because they could do so many things, was like 40 pages long, which is a lot to confront. And to make it a little bit more difficult, they had just hired a new marketing person who knew nothing about marketing. And so she's presented with this 40-page marketing campaign. Now, while it's very detailed and does tell her exactly what to do step by step, it's still quite something to confront. So I created Marketing Mentor. And what Marketing Mentor does is it takes the marketing campaign and enables the marketing staff to interact with the campaign and ask any questions that they need to in order to implement the campaign. And the time when I found out how workable this was about a month ago, when 2 weeks previously I told this new person, I said, okay, take the next two weeks, study the campaign, also use your customized Marketing Mentor, and then I'll talk to you in 2 weeks and we'll, take it from there. So I did. I said, okay, so how's it going? And she said, great. And I said, okay, so what questions do you have about the campaign? And she said, none. The Marketing Mentor answered them all. So at that point, I knew that this was really workable. So that was very cool, at least for me as a marketing person. And then what marketing campaigns do is they say, well, you've got to create content. You've got to create blog posts, social media, articles with headlines and copies and images. So I thought, well, let's automate that as well. So I created AI Content Creator. Actually, let me just check something here. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to jump online, I hope, and see if we can... Yeah, I'm going to show you an example of Content Creator. And this was a fun thing, because one of my clients is a graphic designer, and she was kind of concerned about AI, taking her job. So we actually asked the AI about that. And the AI actually explained why. She actually asked, let's see, I think it's over here. Yeah, she wanted to do a Facebook post about why it's better to use a real graphic designer instead of AI. And the AI said, great choice for a topic. And then, so it started with a headline that wasn't particularly great. And then, so we just it wrote some copy about why choosing a human graphic designer over AI. And we looked at it, and it was okay. And as a starting point. But then we said, okay, now create 10 more compelling headlines, because that original headline was not great. Unleash creativity beyond algorithms, etc. So we asked it to create 10 more compelling headlines. And we really liked number 2, Designing with Soul, Why Human Creatives Outshine AI. And remember, that's an AI saying this, which is kind of ironic. But anyway, we liked that headline a lot. And then we said, okay, now create an image for this. So it created this, which was a really nice image. And the designer liked it a lot, even though she's a designer herself. She decided to use it for her blog post on why Designing with Soul, Why Human Creatives Outshine AI. And then we said, okay, now create all what you said, which was just an outline. We said, now create it as a 500-word blog post. So it did. It wrote the 500-word blog post in seconds. And it was actually a very good post. So that's an example of AI content creator and what it can do. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. Yeah, and then I thought, well, the campaigns also call for videos. What if we could speed up the creation of videos? So I created Video Director. He creates great video titles, awesome scripts, really great scripts, and visual storyboards, and also offers specialized video production advice, which is useful to people who are new to videos. And actually, let me again go back to ChatGPT. And I'm just going to look at something here. Video creation. Yeah. So what Video Director does is it asks some questions first. It says, what's the topic or theme? What's the target audience? What's the video length you want? What's the style and tone? Some specific elements you might want in the scenes. What's the purpose, etc. And then so I told it that, and it created the script and the visual suggestion and the voiceover for each of the scenes. And then I said, okay, so now create the storyboard images for that. Now, these are not the images that are used in the actual video. They're just the storyboard kind of placeholders so that you know what the scene's going to be about. So it created the storyboard images. And then I said, and it broke it down, tied it in with the script and the image. And then I said, okay, can you create a 1-minute video on the same subject? And it did that. It created a 1-minute one. And then, so it created the storyboard for that. And all this is happening in minutes instead of many hours as would normally be the case. And then I said, okay, now do one for artists. So it created another one that these are the storyboard reminder placeholders for artists. And then I said, okay, make them landscape instead of square. So it did that, like that. And I think that's about it on Video Direct. Yeah, I just asked it some other stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so I find it very, very helpful. It saves a lot of time in the video production process. So then I went, okay, let's see what's next in putting together a marketing campaign for people. Oh, of course, websites. So I created an interactive guide for creating WordPress website design, offering layout suggestions, copywriting, basic SEO advice, best practices in web design, and effective content strategies. So that works out well as well. And then I thought, well, okay, let's take a look at sales. Sales funnels are really powerful and valuable, but my God, they take weeks to create with all the content that you need for landing pages and different parts of the funnel and images and copy and titles and whatever else. So I created Funnel Builder, which makes it way faster than that. And then, since I've gotten into the area of sales, I thought, well, okay, many companies have sales departments where they're constantly onboarding new salesmen. What if there was a GPT that could train them on everything known to man on the subject of sales? So Sales Coach Pro is trained on everything ChatGPT knows from the web and from its interactions with other people in the area of sales. And let me see if I can just give a quick example, because it's kind of a fun one. It's really good for training new sales staff or even experienced sales staff. Okay. So yeah, here's Sales Coach Pro. So all of these come with 4 conversation starters that you can determine what they are and what they say. So this one says, what are the steps that build to a close? How do I handle objections? And when these are trained on, when these are done for specific companies, they're trained on that company, all their services and products and all their successful sales techniques and everything their salespeople need to know for the selling of their particular product or service. What is a closing opportunity signal? Which is basically when the person you're talking to says something or does something or looks a certain way and you know they're ready to close. What is a tie down? How many people here don't know what a tie down is? Oh, okay, it's a very useful thing. So let's ask you, what's a tie down? So it's something used to eliminate affirmative responses. It involves turning a statement into a question that prompts either a yes or no. So it's something as simple as like, does that make sense? So the person says yes. And the whole thing here is to get the person in the course of your sales cycle to just keep saying yes, very innocently to very innocent questions. And so you got yes, yes, yes. You're building agreement, a building agreement. So by the time you finally say, so are you ready to buy? The logical thing for them to say is yes. And it's silly, but it works. And so I could say to it, okay, give me 20 examples of effective tie downs. Actually, I forgot to say thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Tony, there's a question in the chat.
Yep, I will answer that. I will
Okay.
answer that in the Q&A.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So you see, this is fairly useful, and I'm going to show one more thing that's kind of fun. And it says, is there anything else you'd like to learn about sales techniques? And like I say, it's trained on all the sales techniques for that specific company or anything that's available on the web, so long as it doesn't contradict the sales training that the company uses. So let's ask it, what are some effective Aha. I recognize that first one. It comes from Big League Sales, which is a very successful sales system. So this is very useful stuff. Oh, the Columbo close. I had never heard of that one before, but it's named after the detective Columbo, who just as he's about to leave says, oh, another thing, or and another thing. But anyway, so this is Sales Coach Pro is a very, very useful tool. I actually find them all very, very useful, but so moving on. Oh, and this led to, for me, the hallelujah moment, which was that I realized that all of these tools that I had just created for my own self, for my own work, basically replaced the marketing department of any company. Now, of course, I don't sell them based on that. I don't, promote them based on that, because marketing companies are going to be not happy, and the marketing departments of companies are not happy. So I promote them more along the lines of they'll enhance the marketing department, which they will dramatically. They'll speed up their work just extraordinarily. And of course, it enables me to offer market research and marketing campaigns at 1/10 of the normal price, or even teach people how to do it themselves. And like I said, I can make versions personalized to companies and artists, and even make author AI book companions. So do you guys get the idea of how powerful these things are, or how powerful they can be? Especially since you can create them yourself, as I'm going to show you. We're going to build one together. Oh yeah, they all currently need the paid version of ChatGPT, the $20 a month one, to work. But I have actually found a way to make some of them work in the free ChatGPT, but they have less capability. For instance, you can't upload your own content to them, and you can't have them create images and stuff like that. But for some things, they work. But the paid version, I mean, the $20 a month, for me, is just an incredible bargain for what you get from it. It's so much better than the free version. This is an example of a book companion. This is an interactive book companion to Dawn's Revenge, providing deep dives into the fascinating world of the French Quarter in New Orleans. And it actually speaks. It actually speaks with a kind of New Orleans lilt to how it talks, using New Orleans mannerisms. But it enables people to really dig deep into the characters and their motivations and their challenges, and all sorts of fun things. Now, actions. So apart from being able to add our own documents to the ChatGPT's knowledge base to train our AI assistant, there are also things called actions, and this is where they become really, really powerful. Unfortunately, I mean, the good part is they become really powerful. The less good part is up until now, they could be built by anyone, but now we're getting into an area where programmers have to step in. Actions enable our GPTs to communicate with and cause external programs to do all sorts of sequential steps. So as an example, you could say, all right, I want my GPT to go and log into LinkedIn, find all the people who recently said they needed such and such a product and service, then look at some of their recent posts and then write an introduction communication to them quoting something that they said, so it's more personal. I mean, stuff like that would, to write that from scratch as a programmer would be massive undertaking. But using these custom GPTs with the actions and hooking it up to something like Zapier, which already communicates with 6,000 other apps, including LinkedIn, and can give 20,000 sequential commands to those apps, it suddenly becomes really, really powerful. Yeah, like I just basically said that. Yeah, and again, these slides must be telepathic. They must know what I was about to say, because this is pretty much what I just said. Yeah, and it can also put all the leads into a Google Sheet spreadsheet. Okay, I'm just going to mention Michael, what Michael said in the chat, which I will be addressing shortly in the Q&A. That's exactly what I have to. Oh, he's already left. Okay, that's fine. But he said it would be helpful if I created a detailed step-by-step path into creating one, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, one last thing. As you communicate with the AI, you can end up with hundreds, even thousands of conversations. And finding something in one of those conversations is extremely hard and time-consuming. Now, you may have noticed that when I went into ChatGPT, I pressed a button and a little drop-down box appeared, and I was able to search all my conversations and find the actual one that I was looking for. So it's this Chrome extension called ChatGPT Conversation History Search. And it looks like that. And basically, if I put in there I had 554 conversations. Now I have like 800, 770 or something. But I just put in what I'm looking for, and it finds all the conversations that have that term and how many times in each of those conversations it is, and then enables me to click on and go right to that conversation so I can get the information. So for me, it's really valuable. Now, I mentioned security, and that is GPTs hadn't been out long before hackers discovered they could get the GPTs to give up all their programming info so people could copy them and make their own versions and sell them in the store based on your custom GPT. So some other people and myself developed workarounds to prevent that. So putting this prompt in the back end of your custom GPT will prevent any attempts, and it'll just basically say, sorry, I can't help you with that. Now, obviously, you can't read this, and there's too much of it, but as usual, if at the end, well, I'll give you my email address at the end. If you send me an email requesting the slides, I'll also send you a copy of this so you can plug it into your, of the actual text, so you can plug it in. This one was one of my clients has a lot of trouble with computer definitions. It makes him makes it difficult for him to work with computers. There's so much he doesn't understand. So Definitions Master, which is a free one, simplifies computer and AI terms into easy to understand language, gives examples, derivations, history, sentences, and images, etc. So that one's kind of useful. Research Rabbit was just for me, helps me speed up research dramatically for things I'm looking for. Now, how to create a custom GPT. So you can build these around your own area of expertise. Some will be relatively easy and very quick. Some will take testing, tweaking, retesting, back and forth until they do exactly what you want. And always test, because sometimes it says it's changed something and it hasn't. And so let's build one. Let's go back into the web. So when you go into the paid version of ChatGPT, and this is the important thing, see, I'm here in ChatGPT 4 because I'm on the paid version. This is the free version, which is nowhere near as powerful or I mean, the free version is trained until September 2021, so it's way out of date and doesn't do half of what the paid version does, which was trained until April 2023. So it's much more up to date. So I'm in ChatGPT 4, and so I've got a thing here called Explore GPTs. And up here there's a button called Create. So you click on Create. Now you've got two ways to do this. You can either do it with the, well, actually I'll show you the other way first. These days, because I've done this so many times, I've built 60 of these things, I pretty much plan out what I'm going to create and write it up in a text document, and I put in the name I've chosen, the description I've chosen, the instructions, what it does, and upload the necessary files to train it on whatever I want to train it on. They can be text files, doc files, PDFs, but most people starting out will go to Create instead. So we're going to do that, and we're going to create a social media marketing coach. And I'm going to say, it's going to say, what would you like to make? And I'm going to say, I'd like to build a social media marketing coach offering tailored advice on strategies and personal branding. So it's creating it. It's now literally programming stuff that would in the past have taken a programmer days or weeks to build. It says, great choice. How about naming this social media guru? No. Okay, I'm going to open this up to you guys. You can either turn your mics on or put it in the chat. What would you call a social media marketing coach? What would be a fun name? Don't all speak at once. Come on, you're creative guys, you're artists. Social media what? Social media expert, good. Okay, any others? Social media master, that's cool as well. Oh, somebody in a private said social media sage. That's interesting. Social media coach me, cult leader. Oh my God. Okay, well, I'm going to go with social media whiz. Yeah, they're all good. I'm going to go with the one that was sent directly. So I'm going to say social media sage. And now it's it's creating the icon that should appear on the right hand side. GPT branding, another good one. I'm going to say nice, but make it more colorful. So you see, you can go back and forth having a conversation with the AI to get it the way you want. And if you look on the right here, you'll see it's already created 4 conversation starters. Like, how do I improve my Instagram presence? What's a good strategy for LinkedIn? Ah, Elizabeth, you're right. Elizabeth says, don't forget, please. Oh, that's nice. Says, please, LOL. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that's a good example of not accepting the first thing that they say, and they'll come up with something better. So we should see that change over here. Okay, for example, should the focus be more on content creation, audience engagement, analytics, performance-specific strategies? I'm going to say all of the above. So now it's reprogramming it. And the thing that, like I say, blows me away is that to try and create these ourselves, even if we were programmers, would take, way, way, way longer than this. I mean, we've spent maybe less than 10 minutes. All right, so how formal or casual? Should the tone be more like a mentor, a peer, or a consultant? I'm going to say friendly. But consultative. What did it say? Casual, friendly, but consultative. Yeah, mentor is fine. It says, is there anything specific you'd like social media sage to do or say that makes it unique? For example, should it share anecdotes from successful social media campaigns, provide inspirational quotes, or offer a specific greeting or sign off in each conversation? Let's add any final touches to make it truly special. Well, I'll show you in a minute how we can tweak that ourselves, but I'm just going to say inspirational quotes would be fine. Regenerate. That just means that many, 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 many more thousands of people are doing this at the same time as us. Occasionally happens and you just say regenerate and it will. There we go. Okay, so it's all done and we can try it out. Cool. So now you can either save it for everyone if you want it to appear in the OpenAI ChatGPT custom GPT store where people can buy it and make you money, or anyone with a link. So that's, if you're sharing it with specific people, or only you. I'm going to do anyone with a link, and I'm going to confirm. Now, just before we use it, I'm going to go back to the edit thing. I'm going to go configure, and here's what it wrote as the instructions. And we can go in and tweak that to our heart's content to make it really, really specific in what it covers and how it covers it. But for right now, we're just going to take the generic one. So what's a good strategy for growing followers? How do I make my content stand out? Can you help me understand my audience better? So there it's going to ask me who I am and who's my audience, unless I've custom trained it for a specific company or artist. Advice for maintaining a consistent brand voice. Well, let's see what it says if we do this. And don't forget, we can ask anything we like in this box down here. And as I mentioned before, it'll start real simple and real generic, and we dig in deeper. And we can go in on specific, we can say, yeah, okay, what about Facebook specifically? And oh, it's giving me a quote. Okay. All right. So let's say we say, so I was going to say, please, I'm going to say thank you. And here I would say, okay, how do I do that? And it would tell me, and it would break it down. And I could say, and then I'd say, give me step by step on how to contact these people. Who are they? And so sometimes I'll ask for influencers, and it'll give me a list of the key influencers in an area and their addresses. So you see how you could build something that does things very easily and very quickly. Does that make sense? Okay. So I think there's one more area I'm going to. Oh, Helen Keller. It really likes this thing of giving us inspirational quotes, which we can turn on or off as we desire. But that's just basically how to create a custom GPT that does anything. So let's go back to here, and I'm going to tell you one more thing that discovered this month, in fact, that is really cool. At least I think so. It's kind of the next level. And okay, we'll go past this. Yeah. So this is my website on this subject. But you see down in the corner here, there's this little picture of me. It's actually on the website itself. It's kind of bobbling a bit to get the person's attention. But in fact, I might demonstrate that in a minute. But actually, yeah, let's just do that. So yeah, so this site is personalcustomgpts.com, and you see down here there's this little thing here, and if I click on that, it produces my AI coaching. It's trained on everything I know about AI, and people can ask it questions. And let's see. Yeah, it'll answer questions and have conversations. It's a mini GPT, but it's customized to your site. And this is actually where I'm in the middle of training it, so its information is spotty and variable. But if I go, oh, it has suggested questions. So I can say, you know, what is AI and how can it help me? And it tells me what AI is, and it tells me how AI can help me. Now that in itself is kind of a useful thing, because you can make something where the picture here is you, and you're interacting with people who come to your website. And so people will interact with the AI version of you and consult your knowledge and consult information about your website and your products or services. And now if that was all it did, that alone results in more conversions on websites, because people get involved and they get kind of more deeply into your website, and they can go straight to the information they need. But it actually does so much more, and I'll explain that in a minute, because, and this is what blows me away. So yeah, there it is. It pops up, and so it's trained on all my knowledge, AI knowledge, and GPT-4's knowledge, and it will freely answer questions. But apart from the usual answering questions about the website and the company, and also general advice obtained from ChatGPT beforehand. It'll handle support questions. It'll help onboard staff. It can also do things like generate leads right there on the website and send them to your mailing program to build lists. It will book appointments right there in the bot. And it can actually introduce people to your products and sell them and take payments right there automatically. And these operate 24/7. So you can be selling stuff while you're asleep. Or you can send them to your webinars or get testimonials or get ratings. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's kind of like what I mentioned before, custom GPTs with actions. That's what these things are. So we're custom making these with their images and data for companies who want their websites to get them more leads and customers. And I love this technology because it adds so much more to a static website. Okay, to try some of these out, and you'll see there's a bunch of them free. It's personalcustomgpts.com. And if you want to get a copy of the slides and the code to make your GPTs secure, you can, again, email me, and you can also ask for a free AI coaching session, which will be customized to you and your business and what you do or your art, whatever you need to know. So, based on that, I'm now going to take questions. So I'm going to read the ones in the chat first, and then we'll go to ones where you can either open your mic and ask them or ask them in the chat. So, is the Marketing Bloodhound for sale? Is Insight Finder available too? No, Marketing Mentor is free. Oh, actually, is Marketing Bloodhound for sale? I'm sorry. The answer is yes. I thought it said, I misread it. Is it free? No, it's for sale. And we have a thing where if you buy one, it's a certain price. And if you buy two, it goes way down. If you buy three, it goes way down. Same with Insight Finder. But as I say, many of the tools like Sales Coach Pro and Marketing Mentor and Author's Ally and the ones for visual artists, they're free. But like I said, they're a lot more powerful if you customize them. And those are where, yeah, those are for sale. They don't cost much. Now, Michael says it would be helpful if you created a step-by-step path into creating one's AI. Well, we just did that. Because everyone does things differently. Accountants, artists, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Okay, that's all the questions there. So now, over to you guys. You can either ask questions in the chat. Where do you buy? Sorry, yeah?
Hi.
Who said? Is that Viola?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you hear
good.
me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I have a fashion clothing business, and I have been looking into AI to help me with photos. So I found a couple sites, Midjourney being one of them, where I can upload my clothing designs on models, on their models, and create background and things like that to use, because obviously having clothing on a model sells better than having it on a mannequin. So would you suggest one over the other? Is there one that's better for fashion and clothing than others?
Yes. Midjourney is great, and I use Midjourney a lot. I also use Leonardo and Stable Diffusion, which I access at ClipDrop. But there's one specifically where you can put your clothes on mannequins and models. It's called promeai.com. PROMEAI.com.
Can you say that, spell that again for me?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, great. On Midjourney, somebody posted, which made me a little hesitant to sign up for Midjourney because they don't have a free trial anymore.
Right.
And but they were saying that if you canceled, they still kept charging you.
I haven't canceled, so I can't speak to that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard any problem. I mean, it seems to me
No,
you would have heard something.
no,
Okay.
I definitely haven't.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah. And to answer feel good marketing, Erica, where do you buy? We're setting that up so you'll be able to do that on the website, but it's not ready yet. So right now, you would just email me and I'd send you the rate sheet and that kind of stuff. Okay, Darlene says, I'm a fantasy adventure creator where I write and illustrate a particular story on a monthly basis through Patreon. How can AI help me? I don't want it to write the story, but I may need help with the art if it's in my style. Well, like we just mentioned, Midjourney is incredible for that, as is Leonardo, and Leonardo is free. Midjourney is $10 a month. Stable Diffusion at clipdrop.co, that one is $9 a month. They all have their pluses and their minuses. So I just finished illustrating a children's book with 200 unique illustrations, and we used all three of them because each one, if we didn't get exactly what we were looking for in one of them, we'd go to the other, and between the three of them, we'd find one of them would come up with what we were looking for. Okay, what would you suggest for an Airbnb VRBO? What's VRBO? Elizabeth, what's VRBO?
It's a competitor to Airbnb, basically.
Oh,
It's
oh,
similar. Yeah.
okay. Okay, I'm on PriceLab already for pricing. Need to market it more. Well, definitely. I mean, if you want help with the marketing, you can use my free marketing mentor, which is trained on everything there is to be known about marketing, and it's up to date. Yeah, or you can hire me to do market research on marketing campaigns. But I mean, there's lots of options. Viola says this was an excellent event. So much great information. Thank you, Viola. Appreciate it. Vacation home rental. Got it. Okay. Okay, Darlene, Midjourney, Leonardo, and what was the other one? Okay, here you go. Clipdrop.co, not .com. It's in the chat now. Clipdrop.co. To the author asking a question about using AI for writing, I'm taking screenwriting classes using AI from Screenwriting U. He walks you through the process of writing with AI. Good. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Got to go. Good stuff. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Thanks for attending. Thank you all for attending. Any last questions?
Yeah, I have one actually, or two.
Okay, who's that?
It's Michael.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So my head is spinning a bit, and I have been doing these classes, so I have been using AI for some of the stuff, but a lot of information in a short time, so great. I was wondering when you were talking about using role. So you were saying about you are telling AI that it's a certain thing. What about using writing prompts saying, I'm writing a novel about cats. Can you give me a suggestion about what characters I might include or something like that? Does
yeah.
that do the same thing as what you're talking about?
Well, yes, but oh, my voice has suddenly gone weird. I don't know if you're hearing it go strange, but yes, that's two different things. That prompt, when you're talking to the AI or the or the custom chat GPT, absolutely, that prompt is fine. Where I was talking about giving it a role, that's when you're training a custom GPT that you've built yourself, and you're letting him know how he should be answering.
Okay. Yeah. So I was also wondering about at what point you would want to open a new window, because you said keep going deeper, but I'm wondering if at some point you don't confuse the AI a bit and you need to go to like a new window.
Well, if you go to a new window, he won't know what was in the other window. So you'll have to start all over. And recently, in fact, this week, ChatGPT said they had made some improvements so that even with really long conversations, the GPT would keep track of what was going on.
Okay, great. And finally, I was just wondering, how would one use like the AI companion like on Zoom? How does that work? You know?
You know, it's a good question. I keep seeing them saying that they have it. I haven't had a chance to check it out.
Mm.
I think it's their system for note-taking and stuff like that, and probably more than that, but at least note-taking.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Great webinar.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Okay, any other questions? Any last words from our wonderful hostess?
Thanks so much, Tony. That was, wow, mind-blowing. So if they want more information, or they can go to your website or the links that you have up in the corner there, is that correct?
Yeah, personalcustomgpts.com
Okay.
is the one that covers
Is
what
the
we were
one.
covering today.
Okay,
And
great.
in the bottom left-hand corner is my email.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks so much. Thanks everyone for attending. This was really wonderful.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And yeah, I guess we're done then.
Okay.
Is there going to be a recording of this available?
Actually, I did do a recording.
And if you want it to be available to our members, if you send me a link, Tony, I'll put it up as a post. So
Okay, great.
yeah. So yes, it will be.
Okay, super. I'm glad you reminded me to stop the recording. Otherwise, it would just sit on this. I've got 4 monitors here, and it would sit there on the far left, recording the rest of my day. So thank you for reminding me.
Probably, yeah. Don't want that, no.
Probably not.
Okay. Thanks so much, Tony. Thanks
You're so
everyone
welcome.
for attending.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.